This week on Sailing Lady Africa, we take you on a safari with us. We start cutting and fitting in our aft beds. We show you the lights we'll be putting in, and we epoxy in our countertops. It was a beautiful scenic route to the Kragga Kamma Game Reserve. And we couldn't wait to see the variety of animals the place had to offer.
Hey Pumbaa!
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 We saw some warthog, buffalo, got the wildebeest that killed
The wildebeest.
that killed Mufasa, zebra. Oh my gosh, guys, there's the biggest vervet monkey!
You're awesome, man.
Cheetah. The way Ricky calls his pet cat. Isn't it purring? Ostrich.
The African chicken.
A lot of buck.
We're busy having lunch, and there's our view. Someone chewing like a camel.
And you couldn't miss the giraffe. Hey, can you please get out of the road? We kind of need to get past.
I get better than that.
Can you get out of the road? No, she doesn't give a shit. She finally moved. Aw, thank you. Just don't kick me in the face. Whatever you do. Thanks, cuteness.
Give me your rice.
Hey!
Give me your rice.
She doesn't want my rice. We drove around and around looking for the rhino and finally came across them. But it started raining and was getting late, so it was time to hit the road back home and back to work. Driving, we just see this pretty ostrich sitting in the rain.
Where's your knickknacks, girl?
No knickknacks. Bye, ostrich. Wake up, get out of the way. There's cars coming.
There's the sink. Here's the template of it out. So we're going to cut out the reveal and then we'll put the sink. I'm going to cut it out. What you can see is that's what the honeycomb cells look like, and it's a pretty good cut. I mean, it's pretty good. So this is practically the head completely gutted out. That wall's been waterproofed already, and pretty much see that's completely empty. And here's the Nidacore panels that we're going to start building up the new shower base and the wall that's going to come in here to divide it. So we're back here at CDC. We're lucky enough that they said we can use their yard, and we're busy. We've cut out all the fiberglass that we need in the boat for the galley, for the two forward bunks, for the back, for the beds, and for the aft of cabins. And we started filling in the corner. So let me show you what we have to do with the Nidacore. We cut out the edge, so there's the Nidacore in there. We've used just a grinder and taken out say about 10 mils, half an inch down, and then we fill it up like that with epoxy all along its length. And it doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to be overfilled. And then we'll take the router tomorrow once it's in place, and we'll get all of that routed out, and then it's smooth. So that area there is what it looks like once it's been routed, and there's new resin there, and that's what it looks like when it's been routed. So it's a really hard edge. I mean, that's solid glass.
Ricky cut out the access hatches in our aft bed, as we will be using the space underneath the bed as storage.
So it's Saturday, we're back to our good normal routine, and that means ice cream on a Saturday.
After the weekend, it was back to work. Ricky and Moses cut out the sheets of fiberglass and peel ply to start laminating the Nidacore sheet we would be using for our head.
We have a little bit extra of that Nidacore on a 10mm sheet, and I want to use it in the head for some of the backing for the bottom. And so we're going to make an extra one just with a one side glass on either side, 410 gram. So just some lightweight panel that we can use in general areas, only 10mm thick. So that's what it looks like before, that 10mm, really flimsy, and you can pretty much just cut it off. So that's not a perfect cut, but you can see the little octagon, obviously honeycomb shaped, so octagon cubes inside. But yeah, it cuts really easy like that, makes it quite easy to work with. It's really flexible. If you want to make curved panels, you could even curve it like that. Then you glass the one side and put braces on the other side, and then take it out of wherever it is, and then glass the inside. So yeah, we're going to use this to extend our, not in this one, it's 20mm, to extend our bimini top, and we'll just put a little bit of angle in it like that, glass the top, put a few braces in the bottom, and then take it off, and then we'll glass the bottom, and it'll pretty much be in that shape already when we glass the bottom. Okay, so we've got 2 liters in our drum of polyester, and the nice thing with working with polyester is that you can kind of regulate how you want to, the kind of work times that you got. So the more MEK you add, which is technically the hardener, the faster cure time you're going to get. So for inside here and the temperatures that we've got to work on, like a 1% ratio. So 2 liters, 20 mils, and that's good. Obviously you can go 2-3% would probably be the most. I mean, at 3% it hardens quickly. For the edgings that we do when we fill up with polyester as opposed to epoxy, only on the stuff that's where it's not major for us and we fill with polyester. You can always use polyester on polyester, but you can't use polyester on epoxy. It will just pull off after a while.
But you can use epoxy on polyester.
But you can use epoxy on polyester. But obviously the price difference, it's five times more expensive to use epoxy. So for making sheets, we use the polyester. For putting it in place where it's polyester on polyester, we use polyester, and where it's polyester on wood, we use epoxy only. And if it's too much wood in between, then we just use epoxy on everything, and epoxy the whole sheet in. So you got one of these little mixing things. So in the side where all your stuff is, and you just tilt it to that side and you press until you get the quantity that you want. There's a little marker there, and you just pour that in. So we start off with one layer of resin on the board, and the board's already been waxed up. And what this first layer is for is so that whatever material we put on top of it won't have a dry side on this side. And then we go peel ply on top of this.
Peel ply is placed onto the melamine board and then resin is applied. A sheet of biaxial is then applied on top of that, and resin is also applied again.
It's important that you saturate the Nidacore nicely, at least for the top side of the cloth on the Nidacore. You got to make sure that it's completely wet, otherwise you'll get dry spots and it will delaminate.
The Nidacore sheet is then placed on top of the fiberglass and peel ply that resin was previously applied to, and then the resin is applied on the other side of the Nidacore sheet that the resin has not been applied to.
Whenever you're doing the first layer that goes down, you can always put a bit extra resin, because once you lay up the cloth it will suck some. So to compensate for it not drying out the material underneath, just add a bit extra. And because we're doing a one sheet laminate, I'm not going to be stingy with the polyester, so I'll add a bit extra.
Biaxial is then placed on top of the Nidacore sheet that had just been resined.
Work those edges really well, making sure that you can see the honeycomb pattern coming through, because if it doesn't come through, then it means you haven't saturated the cloth. Once you see the honeycomb pattern coming through, you know that you've saturated the cloth, and there's no white unsaturated cloth sections.
And then it's time to put on your layer of peel ply.
So we're starting on this one, we're going to start on one side and we press it out that way. If there's any additional resin, we'll go out.
Ricky and Moses then started cutting and placing the lips in our aft cabin beds. Cotton flocks and polyester resin were used to place these lips onto our aft cabin beds.
Once we've epoxied those in place, we take biaxial to do the lapping. It's not necessary, it's kind of, we're doing a little bit of extra provisioning. So we'll take a layer of biaxial, on top of that a layer of chop, just so that the chop can fit in everywhere quite nicely, fits in better than the biax. And so we're just cutting all the sizes before we mix resin. Let's put it in. Lay the biaxial down, so I've grinded everything down so that it has an adhesion layer. Working outside a nice ventilated area so that these fumes don't stuff you up.
The joys of working with chop strand. We bought a selection of lights. These were our courtesy lights.
So I've turned off all the lights in the house and I'm busy jury-rigging our lights that we've bought for the cabin, and the courtesy lights, and our night light or nav light or whatever you want to call it for inside the cabin. So the red light, how I've set it up is that, well, how we're going to set it up is that we'll have courtesy lights on the floor, all independent, that you can select them if you're just at night and you want to walk around, you want to see things. When you're at anchor, so you can leave them on at night, they'll draw 0.5 watt. Our downlights are like 2 watts. Yeah. 2 watts for our downlights, and they white. I wanted to get something a little bit softer, but the only thing I could find was a pure white, which is the color of that's our downlight that we got. And that would be our night cabin light. Let me check.
How it looks when you don't have a pickup truck.
So here's one of the back beds, and I've just put some pieces of wood to hold it in place underneath, so it's just resting on top. And we're going to start fiberglassing it in. So we're going to go 2 layers biaxial, 1 layer chop on top. Because we're working in such a confined space, you really want to get a mask, otherwise you're going to get a serious headache and a high before the headache. So we're doing structural polyester with cotton flocks onto polyester, so that the whole edge will structurally support it. So this will go into the end of the. You will make sure that you're going to have a nice stiff mix, but well mixed. Luckily this cotton flocks, it's just fine flakes of cotton material, and this is nowhere near as, I mean, there's hardly no fumes. You almost don't smell the fumes. I don't say that there's not fumes, but there's a lot less fumes as opposed to working with resin stuff. So we'll do this and then we'll gloss underneath. So we're just trying a different method on this side. So this is epoxy, and the reason for it is that we're going wood. So wood on polyester must be epoxy. So make epoxy for that.
My job is to make sure that I cut enough peel ply strips for Ricky and Moses when they are epoxying.
Moses, what's your respirator? What's your mask?
Ricky and Moses then got out to cutting our saloon table. Stay tuned till next week, where we have to repair our car, we take a trip to the aquarium for Ricky's birthday, and close up fittings that are leaking. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe below if you haven't already, and give us a big thumbs up.